Well, good morning everyone. My name is Penny Sharpe and I'm the Minister for Climate Change, Energy, Environment and Heritage. And we're here in Broken Hill today to give a community update in relation to what's going on with the power supply across the far west. I'm really pleased to say that this morning I was able to go and visit the generator site and see all of the work that's being undertaken. And from the beginning, I just really want to thank the local workers who are working 24/7, increasing, a huge amount of people who've come from all across the state to come and help fix this problem. They're doing incredible work, and I know they're tired, but I think we all are very grateful for all of their efforts. Look, I'm here today with a number of people who'll be able to provide you with detailed information. I'm really pleased to be here with Superintendent David Cooper. I've got Mark Summers from Essential Energy, he's the Operations Manager. I've got Sam Pickering from Transgrid. Sam is the Far West Operations person, and he can tell you, give an update on everything that's happening right at the moment. I'm of course with the member for Barwon, Butler, and I'm really pleased that the Mayor's been able to come along today, Tom Kennedy, so that he can also know what's going on. Look, the information as of right now is that there are no customers without power in the Far West region of New South Wales. Power was restored to the final customers after the last outage yesterday at 11:30am. There was no load shedding events during the evening peak late yesterday, and again I always thank everyone for looking at how you can turn off your appliances that you don't need and really help us to balance this during this time. Essential Energy and Transgrid are not planning any outages in the next 48 hours, and the main backup generator is operational. The 4 portable generators Essential Energy has commissioned are operational and are supplying Wilcannia, Menindee, Whitecliffs, Tibooburra and Silverton. Transgrid has synchronised the bank of portable generators but did not need to turn those on last night to meet the demand. Again, I just acknowledge that they've gone from 60 to 90 staff and they're working across 24-hour shifts. Transgrid is connecting another 2 banks of portable generators and intends these to be available to meet the evening peak from tomorrow night. So more generation is coming in all of the time. I have some very good news this morning as well. Transgrid has erected the first temporary tower to the transmission line. So there's another few to go, but there is significant progress and we really welcome that. There's been a lot of questions about AGL's battery. The good news is that this is now being integrated into the network and will start charging today for discharge during the evening peak, again providing a really much better safety net if anything happens with the generator. As the work on the electricity continues to be undertaken, I also just want to let people know that from Tuesday there will be recovery assistance points to assist people in the community with any of the other issues that they're dealing with as a result of this event. Support will be available to Broken Hill and the remote communities of Tibooburra, Wilcannia, Menindee and Whitecliffs. The recovery assistance point will be established from Tuesday in Broken Hill. It provides face-to-face support and resources to help residents and businesses recover. That's also where the food support, both vouchers and hampers, will start to be available. The recovery assistance point will be open from 10am to 6pm at the Aged Care and Wellness Centre in Broken Hill. Community visitors can access the recovery access point to access mental health services, community not-for-profits and government representatives, including Services New South Wales, which includes a business concierge. I talked to a lot of businesses last night at an event, and I think they just need some good information about how they can get support to deal with the losses that they've suffered. The New South Wales Reconstruction Authority will also be there, St Vincent de Paul, Red Cross, Legal Aid and also the Insurance Council will be there. There's a lot of claims that need to be made and help will be face-to-face there for people. There's also going to be availability in smaller communities. Menindee, Tuesday from 10am to 3pm at the Menindee Civic Hall. In Wilcannia, Tuesday from 11 till 3 at the Wilcannia Community Hall. Whitecliffs, Wednesday 10am to 1:30pm at the Whitecliffs Sporting Club. And in Tibooburra, Wednesday 11 to 2pm at Albert Hall. This support is being offered ahead of the rollout of the financial package, which I know everyone is very keen to know when that will be available. That's of course the $200 vouchers for households and the $400 payments for households and $400 payments for small businesses. As part of that package, Service New South Wales will be delivering the payments. We'll provide updates as soon as we can. We're obviously just making sure that the service will work and people will be able to get those payments as easily as possible, and I'll continue to provide updates to everyone. I really encourage anyone who's significantly been affected by this to reach out to the support points and know that help is there if you need it. My other message again is yesterday went well. We're not celebrating yet. There's still a lot of work to be done. I really want to thank the workers who are doing all of that work, but also you've got to get sick of me saying this. I really want people just to think, as we're heading into 5:30 this afternoon, do you need to have those lights on? Can you adjust your air conditioning? Are you able to turn lights off in rooms that you're not there? Every little bit helps, and what it does is it actually means that the chances of anyone having to lose power overnight becomes lower and lower. I might hand over at this point to Superintendent David Cooper.
Thank you very much, Minister, and I certainly like to acknowledge the Minister and the Minns government for their support at this time for the Broken Hill community. I'm here on behalf of the Region Emergency Management Control. I'm Assistant Commissioner Andy Holland, APM. I just want to assure the community that from an emergency management point of view, all of the services and all of the functional areas are being coordinated through our LEMC and REOC process. And I have to say, the most important thing that I've seen over the last week is the resilience and tenacity of this great community in the far west. When the times get tough, our people just get on with it. I know there'll be a lot of questions, and I know that there'll be still some challenges ahead, but I'm very confident that with the assistance of all of the functional areas that are assisting us at the moment, that we'll be able to get through this and move on. Thank you very much. Thanks, Minister.
Thanks. I think we're going to hand over to Mark Summers from Essential to give us an update.
Yeah, thank you. I'd just also like to thank the community as well for their cooperation and assistance with all our crews and helping them as they're out there in their work to restore supply to all of our customers. So huge thanks to the community. They've certainly been very cooperative and helpful with our crews on the ground, and also to all the staff that have come to the area to assist the localised crews in the restoration process. So we've managed to bring crews in from lots of different other communities across New South Wales to help the local teams do a great effort. And also just to push the solar. So any customers out there now, given the additional generation that is on the network, any customers out there now who feel safe and are able to turn off their solar, that will be a great assistance. I know we did stress earlier that we would like all the solar possible in the system. Now we'd like to turn that around the other way, have as little solar helping us as we possibly can. And that will certainly help the generators through the daytime period. So anyone that can do that. Also, our crews will be around over the weekend still installing generators, which is kind of like a backup on a backup for the community. So you will see us out and about installing generators. Nothing to be concerned about with that. We just want to be prepared in the event that we need those generators to be supporting the network. So, but thank you again to all the community for being such great support and helping Essential Energy crews out. Thank you.
Thanks to Mark. And this is so we're now going to hand over to Sam Pickering. Sam is in charge of operations for Transgrid across the far west, and he can tell you where they're all up to.
Thank you, Minister. I'd like to take this opportunity to again acknowledge the community of Broken Hill and the surrounding towns for their ongoing patience during this time. We sincerely apologise. I thank the Premier of New South Wales, Chris Minns, and Minister Penny Sharpe, who is here today in Broken Hill, for providing us with the opportunity to provide you with the emergency response update from our emergency crews working on the ground. I want to provide the people of Broken Hill an update on two important streams of work that we are currently delivering. First and foremost, we have teams focused on securing the backup generation required to provide supply certainty to the local community. And secondly, I want to move to the massive reconstruction effort out on the ground where our crews are working night and day to build and put in place 7 high voltage transmission towers so that we can reinstate the region's primary supply. I want to be clear that we cannot underestimate the size and scale of this operation and the need to ensure the safety of the community and our workers at all times. This is why periodic outages have been experienced since the catastrophic weather event and as our crews work through a highly complex and challenging environment. I'll now provide an update on the status of both the generation and reconstruction works that are underway. So as at the update from 10:30 this morning, our gas turbine is currently providing power for Broken Hill, and we have a team that are working 24/7 in monitoring that in readiness to respond to any issues that do arise. Additionally, we have 18 megawatts of portable generation on site, and our team is working 24/7 to connect that over the weekend. Out on our transmission line, as has been mentioned, the first tower has been erected and all our guy anchors are complete, allowing the rest of the transmission lines to be erected in the coming days. We're going to have close to 100 people on site by the end of the week, as well as additional 5 elevated work platforms, which will assist the cabling efforts once those towers are erected. Additionally to that, Broken Hill does continue to be supplied from Transgrid's large-scale backup generator, and work is continuing to bring more generation units on site. Both Transgrid and Essential Energy are also continuing to safely install extra generators across the local network to provide additional backup capacity while repairs to that transmission line continue. For context, in regards to the transmission lines, they are 60-metre high steel structures that will be put in place along the existing easement over the course of the next few days. It is a complex undertaking, and our team are working around the clock to achieve that. While we are already engaged with IPART and are fully cooperating with them in response to the inquiry, as I'm sure you will understand, given the inquiry has already commenced, I'll be limiting my update today to the operational issues at hand and on the ground. Once again, I do want to thank the community of Broken Hill and surrounding regional areas for their patience, and for our team of hard workers on the ground who are working around the clock to complete this work as quickly and safely as possible.
Roy.
Thanks, Minister. And look, I'd like to, again, thank everyone on the ground who's doing this work to try and get the power back on and keep the power going. I guess with every generator that gets added to the network, gets plugged in, it gives me a tiny bit more confidence that we're not going to see shedding or load cycling, that we're going to see continuous power. I won't repeat the messages that have already been said, but what I would say is, just for people to understand, the large-scale backup generator, gas turbine generator, or GT, you hear it referred to as sometimes, is one of those that's working, and when it fails, when we rely on that one generator and it fails or stops for whatever reason, that's when we have real problems. With so many individual generation units, if one were to fail, it's probably not going to worry us that much because we've got backups for backups. So hopefully from here, if we can keep getting these generators plugged into the network, the resilience of power in the far west, and I'm talking about all of the communities, is going to continue. I'd like to give a shout out to Silverton, because Silverton is not feeling that loved at the moment. So Silverton, we love you. Thanks.
Very good. And we're just going to hear from the Mayor. Thanks. Mr Kennedy.
Just firstly like to thank the Minister and our local member Roy Butler for being here. I also want to put a special thanks to Essential Energy, the Rural Fire Service and the State Emergency Services, who have done a great job about connecting individuals to the grid and making sure they've got power. I also want to thank the community. The community in Broken Hill are the best community in the whole world, in my opinion. We are often referred to as the friendliest city. That doesn't mean we have to be friendly now. We have been let down over this period. A town of 20,000 people and the people in the surrounding areas shouldn't have to have put up with that. But for the first time now, I do have some confidence that we're moving in the right direction. So over the next few days, if we have no blackouts, we can all start to rest a little bit. But until we actually see that over those few days, I can understand the angst in the community, and I can understand why the confidence has really gone out of all of us. Thank you.
Happy to take questions.
Did you request Transgrid to be here today?
We've been talking to everyone. Once we decided we were going to do this, we wanted everyone here, and we're really grateful that they're able to be here.
Minister, in 2009, when we had a similar situation, the full power was restored within 8 days. We've had to wait 8 days for one tower to go up. Is that acceptable?
Look, I don't think any of us are happy with the situation that we find ourselves in, and I know the people of Broken Hill and the Far West definitely aren't. The focus remains for me to make sure that we just get all of the energy online as quickly as possible. Obviously, the IPART investigation is really important. IPART are going to be coming to the community, I think, in the next few days. There are lots of questions that need to be answered, and we'll take those seriously. But look, I think the important point is that there has been progress. We obviously are just watching and waiting, and we've got everyone talking to Transgrid and to Essential about how we're managing that network, and we're hopeful that it will be okay over the next few days. But look, we're all here and we'll wait and see.
The opposition, the package is $200 per resident, $400 per small, mid-sized business. You've come under attack about the level of support. Should it be greater?
Look, I think the opposition's able to raise these issues. I think it's important to know that the Premier has been here and we've done a first round of package of support. There's also the Natural Disaster Declaration. We're keeping a really close watch on all of this. I'm not really interested in playing politics at this point. I just want to acknowledge the work, particularly across the various agencies, with the police in terms of supporting the community. The fact that we've got workers working 24/7 across this network, and more people coming from around the state. Look, I just really want to acknowledge their efforts. Not interested in the politics. We're interested in fixing this. The Premier's made a commitment to continue to support that community, and that's what all of the communities across the Far West. And I would do a special shout out to Silverton. We'll definitely be there to see you. We'll pick up any of the issues that are coming forward, and we're just going to fix them. I'm not really interested in people whinging about them.
You spoke to local business people last night at a function. What was the overriding message from them?
Look, I think people are extremely patient. What I saw last night was a bunch of business people who everyone's all in to support each other. They're all taking a remarkable number of steps in relation to how they can support the community that they're part of. And I think there's an understanding that these things happen. I think there is a frustration that they've been left, without the backup and reliability that they needed. And for those businesses that have been directly affected, particularly the food businesses where they've had to throw out, I think the lack of confidence around what's going on has really shaken them. It's obviously cost them, but I think what I'm really hoping we're able to do is just to restore that confidence that they can make their orders, they can try to get back on as the whole tower is being built out. I think people are very understanding, but they've got really serious questions, and I think they're absolutely fair, and we're determined to do that. The other part of it is, of course, a lot of them had spoken to the Premier this week as well. I think, he's very serious. That's why he's got me here. In actually just what other support do we need while I'm here for the next few days. People should feel that they can reach out, and we'll try to help them.
Just we've touched on this before, but we've got a solar farm and a wind farm which can't be fed locally. AGL owned the battery that sat there for 10 days before we can tap into that. There's been a lack of communication, I think, between some of these services and providers.
Look, I'm glad that we've got it together. I'm glad that basically there's regulations and there's a whole lot of rules that need to be followed. There's feasibility that needs to be tested. We've got to make sure that this is safe. We're still learning how to integrate all of this renewable energy into the grid, but I'm very pleased that the work that both Transgrid and AEMO and AGL have done to come together to get the MOU signed, to get that ready, the fact that it's testing, and I think it's starting to charge right now. That's really good progress. The other work in terms of the wind farms and the solar farm, I think that's really the future in terms of how these are fully integrated. But look, we've made some progress. It's probably been slower than we'd all like, but I'm feeling, frankly, as the Energy Minister, much more relieved that we're going to have access to that battery to provide the backup that we'll need over the next few weeks. Any more? Good. Oh, okay, I think we'll do that. Okay. Yeah. If there's no more on this one, I'll let these guys move.
Transgrid?
Yep,
please.
Sure.
I suppose just a question to be raised there with the Minister is that in 2009 when the towers went down, it was all rebuilt and in place within 8 days. It's taken 9 days for one tower to go up. Where's the failing been?
Look, as the Minister said, we acknowledge that the response can always be quicker. We have had hundreds of people coming to site from all over the country in response to this, and the effort to reinstate the power supply to Broken Hill has been immense, and it will continue to be that way until we get the job done. And that's my primary focus of being here.
Is there any work going on with the second turbine at the moment to make sure that can come online, not so much for this time in period, but down the track if we have another incident like this? Can we rely on those 2 turbines in the future instead of 1?
As part of this response, Transgrid's looking at all options to maintain a stable power supply to Broken Hill over the long term, and those discussions will continue to play out. As I mentioned, my being here is about the immediate response and getting that power line reinstated so that the primary power supply to Broken Hill can be reinstated. Those questions will come later, and we will answer those.
Are those other transmission towers in a fit state, or any of those need upgrading or replacing?
On the existing line? So obviously those towers were subject to extreme weather events, and we undertake our maintenance cycles so that we can be ready for events like that. But that one particularly obviously caused the damage that it did. We will continue to monitor the rest of those towers, particularly on the back of this, but we're comfortable that they're in good state.
You're confident then with the remaining towers?
Yes.
What's the major lesson you think you've learned out of this in terms of particularly maintenance and inspection of these towers and the turbines? Because it's left this place in a hell of a mess.
Yeah, I think those questions will be answered, and they are subject to that IPART inquiry. So I won't preempt those questions, and I'll let that play out because I think it's important to get accurate information as it becomes available. As mentioned, I am here to focus on here and now.
1 tower's up. When will we see the other 6?
So as I mentioned, we've got the guy anchors down. That's a timely process depending on the ground conditions. So to get that first tower in is a good milestone that we're happy with. We expect that based on the rest of the guy anchors being in, that we'll get them up over the next few days, and we're working towards a timeline of the 6th of November for that power line to be reinstated.
And that's still a workable day, achievable?
We believe it is, yes.
You're going to ask me about the beach.
We're
now going to talk about the beach. Yeah. Okay. Sure.
This won't interest anyone else but the
That's
ABC.
right. Everyone else can go out and get a drink of water now. I'm doing beaches.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You're right, Will? All right. So, Minister, the latest State of the Beaches report's out. The water quality at 3 ocean beaches was downgraded from good to poor, including at Sydney's Bronte Beach. Has a government identified a cause?
Look, the advice that we have is that it's really about, it's been a wet year. When it's wet, there's obviously a lot of runoff that goes through the stormwater system and just into the beaches there. It's a matter of concern. We work with councils in relation to that. But look, the main cause is that it's been wet and a lot has washed into the water. The good news, though, in relation to how we're changing this is that people are able to look at the beaches and look at the state of their beaches. It's updated daily online, so we don't have to wait for an annual report. People can find out the state of their beach every day.
So just a bit of a follow-on from that, the government then taking any action to improve the water quality of areas with a poor grading?
Look, we're always looking at that. This is what the report's for. My department works closely with councils and we'll work through to identify the particular issues and just see what else can be done in relation to cleaning it up. There's very good news here. We've got beautiful beaches up and down the New South Wales coast. Most of them are absolutely fantastic. When we've had a really wet weather event, it's time to check how it's going just to make sure that people are looking after themselves and not getting in water when they shouldn't.
Are there any sewage sites that need upgrading to stop runoff of contaminated or contaminating beaches after heavy rain?
Look, but the main issue is stormwater and how that's managed at council level as well as how more broadly it's issued in the network. We use this report to draw on that and then we work through the issues that arise as a result.
And can you tell us about the changes coming to the government's water quality monitoring tool? I don't get to ask many beach questions out here.
No, let me just check on that.
All right.
Is this the? I think this is just the. Is this just the? I think you're just talking about the website. Is that?
Tell us about the changes coming to the government's water quality monitoring tool.
I think this is the. I'm going to go on this.
Sounds good.
So look. My understanding is this is good news. There's a number of tools that we have, but the Beach Watch information is online and it's updated daily. It means that people can check before they swim if they're concerned about the state of their beaches. It's there, and it's updated every day. So we want people to be able to use that if you're concerned. The good news is that most of the time our beaches are beautiful and you can enjoy them every single day. But the point here is that if you're concerned, we've actually got information online, updated daily, and really encourage people to use it.
I think you've answered, because the last one was, what was your advice to swimmers? So I think you've nailed it.
Thank you. That's good.
I don't think I get to do many beach reports.
No,